Good evening. My name is Jumoke Lafenwa. You are welcome to Power Session with Jumoke. Today's edition is the 32nd one. It means I've been doing this for 32 weeks. And today the topic is situational questions, choosing the best answer. Last week we looked at PMI mindset. Now, if you want to write PMP exam, your mindset, you have to know how to think the way PMI wants you to think. PMI's approach to PMP is based on research outcome or findings, where PMI has interviewed organizations, users of project management, project managers, the skills, what do you want, what is relevant, you know. And so the PMP exam for relevance showcases or test these skills. So the goal for what I'll be doing or what I've started doing from January to June is to help specifically those that want to write the exam by June before the exam changes in July. Okay. So situational questions, you would hardly see questions like what are the advantages or define this in PMP. It is usually scenario based. They would PMI will paint a scenario for you as a project manager to do. And there's always chaos. It's either it's risk that has become issue or conflict or stakeholder not defining scope or adding things in the course of the project. So as a project manager, your ability to be able to take decision with the stakeholders in mind, as calm as possible without you being chaotic, bearing value in mind. That is what you do. I tell my students when you are writing PMP exam or you start the PMP, PMI doesn't see you like you see yourself in your organization. So as for me, I should report anything I report. PMI is seeing you as someone that is ethical, someone that is exhibiting servant leadership. You are leading people, and you know what you are doing. So you are not some helpless person somewhere. You know what you are doing. You are mindful of your stakeholders. You are mindful of your team members. You understand predictive. You understand adaptive. You understand hybrid. You understand the phases in projects, and so you are a leader and a master of project management. I hope that is clear. So yes, like I said, this is the second version or edition, situational questions. And so let's roll. The people I'm assuming are on this call, they are first time PMP candidates, people that are preparing for their PMP, they've never written it before, or people that have written but failed and they want to write again. And the objective of this session is to help you shift your thinking from what you should do to what PMI expects you to do. In fact, this is the main reason why people fail PMP. They unconsciously start thinking the way they manage projects in the organization. But your organization is not the reference point when it comes to managing projects. PMIS. So if you want to know how to do that, if you didn't join last week's session, please check the page and watch the PMI mindset that I did last week. So why situational questions sink PMP candidates, why it is problematic. Or, sometimes when people write exam and they come out, I don't even know all the questions, I knew it, and the answers. It's just that some of the questions, they have two right answers. Anytime anyone says that, I may not smile outwardly, but in my head, I go like, my situation 2011 when I wrote and failed PMP. So why situational questions sink PMP candidates? Now let's have a reality check. More than 80% of the PMP exam is situational, so you can't run away from it. You are not tested on definitions. You are tested on judgment under constraints. So you have to make decision in an unsettling environment. So it's not like everything is calm, you have time, you don't have time. But your ability to be able to make good decision in this chaotic or constraint is what sets you apart as a project leader. Now, common failure patterns that I have seen as Jumoke, jumping to action without analysis. People see questions, they don't assess, they don't investigate them, boom, they start solving the question. Another one is choosing technically correct but PMI incorrect answer. So often I tell people all the four options are correct but in different contexts. So in this context, you have to pick the right or the best option. So you choosing, sometimes when I ask question, there's someone with, if I say the answer is B, someone will say C is also correct. So choosing technically correct but PMI incorrect answers could lead to failure. Ignoring the order of PMI thinking, there's a problem. Assess or investigate the problem. Discuss it with your team members, because you're not supposed to be giving solution to your team members. Yeah, I'm the one in charge, and this is what I say we are doing. You do it collaboratively. So if you ignore that, that could lead to you getting questions wrong. Confusing leadership with authority. You trying to say yes, I say do it because I'm the leader. Do you know who I am? May lead to problem for you, or make you pick wrong answers because you're supposed to be a servant leader. And solving symptoms instead of root causes. For if you do not investigate, it's like someone goes to the hospital, you've cut yourself, it's hurting you so much, so it has given you temperature, and the doctor is not finding, is not addressing the sore, but is trying to reduce your temperature for you. Is solving the symptoms instead of root cause. And you may be doing that if you jump the or you ignore the order of PMI thinking. So key frame, PMP questions are not asking can you manage projects, it is checking if you think like PMI. Hmm? How PMP situational questions are designed. We look at three ways that influences how questions are designed. One, mindset. Two, process order. Three, ethics and professionalism. If you are reading questions, whatever option you choose must be ethical, must show sign of professionalism. You cannot just say, but the customer wants it, so I'll give it to the customer, and it's not ethical. It will go against you. So mindset, as a project manager, your mindset should be a servant leader, leading. I mean, serving to lead. Okay. Be mindful of your team members, listening to them, creating collaborative environment, being emotionally intelligent and all that. Then value delivery. Whatever you are doing, you want to deliver value. And the value is the essence of the project. Often the business analyst would have conducted the needs assessment, determined the gap, come up with a certain project, and come up with benefit management. Like, if this project is executed, these are the benefits that we will get, and that is usually tied to the value the project is to deliver, and it's also tied to the strategic existence of the organization. So you must be mindful of that. And then collaboration, you don't do it alone. You have to bring people on board, your team members, your stakeholders, to make decision. Then proactive risk thinking, you're not just there, if it happens it happens. And then for process order, if there's a question or a situation, you assess the situation, you analyze it. So it means you gather data, you analyze the data, then from the data, you come up with what you are going to do. That's the plan. Then you act. So if there's a question that says you are running short of material and is causing delay, you don't just say, okay, let's order more. You need to find out why you are rushing, you are running down or short of material before you can find solution. And then for ethics, no shortcuts, no blame. If let's say a team member is not doing well, you don't say, hey, you're not doing well, come on, go off the project, you are delaying everyone. No, you don't blame. In fact, there's an assumption that you can always correct processes or manage processes, and so you provide support to your team members to be able to perform optimally. And no power abuse. Don't just load your project management title on your team members and say, you know what, I'm the project manager, you must listen to me. Whatever I say goes. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. Now, the hidden trick is most options are possible. When you see a question, all the four options they give you, they're actually possible. Sometimes they are not outrightly wrong. but only one is best right now. Out of the four options, only one of them is correct for this particular question. And that is what you have to look out for. The PMI best answer rule. So I've come up with some rules to help you determine the best answer. When PMP says best, when you're reading questions, say, what is the best action for the project manager to take? It usually means the most proactive of the options. That means it's not reactive. The most collaborative of the options. It's not authoritarian. Do it because I say so. And most preventive, not corrective. You see, preventive will not let the error occur. Okay. Most aligned with the project management plan. You had the project management plan. And so the option you will be taking, or the best answer, would align with the project management plan. And it's least disruptive to value delivery, because that's the goal, to deliver value. Now, this is a red flag. If an answer feels fast, you have to do it, because if you don't do it, something will happen, or forceful or heroic, as if you did that, people will see you as, hey, please pause and think. PMI does not reward heroics. PMI doesn't want anybody to stand out, that you do it collaboratively. And so, usually, when a question paints some urgency, if you are not careful, it will set you into a panic mode, and you are looking for solutions. If I don't do it, something will happen. Just take deep breath. I tell my students, breathe in and exhale. Gently, to calm you down. You need it when you're writing the exam. Now, 5-step framework to choose the best answer. These are my creation. Okay. Step one: identify the core problem. When you read questions, what's the problem in this question? Ask yourself, is it a people problem? Is it a process problem? Is it a risk problem? Is it a change issue problem? Sometimes when a change request is made and it says you have to do it quickly, that could be a problem. What is really going wrong? You need to find out. Now, when you find out, you don't solve the noise, you solve the signal. You don't solve the symptoms, you solve the root cause. Now, step two: to choose the best answer, locate yourself in the project life cycle. Is it a predictive project? Is it adaptive methodology? Is it hybrid? Is it into the early phase of the project or late phase into the project? Is it a crisis situation or normal situation? You see, I tell people normal situation. I have the tendency sometimes not to finish my sentence. I'm sorry. The moment you start reading the question, situate all these things that I've said. Is it predictive? Is it adaptive? Is it hybrid? Is it at the early phase of the project? Is there a problem? You know, because that would influence the answer. All right. Step three: eliminate PMI illegal options. Like, if an option says um, a change request has been made, attend to the change without passing it through the change control board. That is an illegality in PMI or PMP. It has to go through the change control board. Even before it goes to the change control board, you have to assess the impact on cost, on time, on risk and everything, so that they can make an informed decision. And whatever the change control board decision they make, you, the project manager, will now update the change log, update the affected documents. Let's say a change request was made that changed the scope. It means you have to change or update the scope management plan. If it would increase the baseline schedule, it means you have to update the schedule management plan. So that's your responsibility. So I just gave that as an example. So you, as a project manager, you need to when you see the options, you can tell the ones that they are not appropriate here, which I have termed PMI illegal options. So some of them are escalating too early. You see the questions, I posted something, and I said the responsibility of the project manager is to find solution as much as possible. That escalation is the last. And somebody came and said that, there are situations where escalation is right, but I have I have stated that escalation is the last. And last week, I think one of the slides I explained when escalation is appropriate. So if you want to know when escalation is appropriate, please go in and watch what we did last week, the PMI mindset. So escalating too early, like fire, when you fire the people for non-performance or you replace them or threaten team members, is an illegality in PMI or PMP. Or you ignore stakeholders. "Oh, this stakeholder is problematic, I don't have time." No, it's an illegal thing to do, an illegal in inverted comma. Bypass formal bypass formal change control, like the example I gave now, that okay, hey, let me do it later, I will update the documents. No, then jump into execution without you assessing, analyzing, and all that. So these are some of the illegalities that comes to mind. Okay. Step 4, apply PMI thinking order. If you want to choose the best answer, then you need to apply PMI thinking order. And what is that? PMI always almost prefers reviewing to understand the problem, analyze, assess, analyze, discuss with your team members, collaborate, understand before you start solving problem, decide, update plans, whatever has changed. Anytime anybody goes to your project, if they picked your project management document, it must reflect what you are doing. What you are actually executing must match your documents. And then step 5, in the framework to choose the best answer, is choose the answer that protects value. Does this project does this protect long-term value? Does it strengthen the team or system? Does it reduce future risk? So these are some of the things that you have to think about when you are making your choice of answer. Common PMP traps to watch out for. Sometimes when I also give my students questions, I'm trying to um, assess what goes on in their head. Okay. So common PMP traps to watch out for. Trap 1, they do something now. Have to do it now. Have to do it now. Urgent language pushes you to act. So watch out for questions that is saying it must be done now. If it's not done now, something please calm down. PMI wants controlled urgency, not panic. Even though the situation may be urgent, you need to be in control. Okay. Trap 2, escalate to sponsor trap. I think by now, if you have been following me, you will know that I've been saying this a lot. Escalation is not leadership, it is a last resort. As long as the question didn't say it is out of your control or is out of your threshold, you have to attempt solving it before you escalate. You only escalate after maybe you have attempted and you're unable to resolve or is out of your threshold. Trap 3, the expert project manager trap. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for years. I don't really need, and even if I close my eyes like this, I know what to do. Please, you know the answer technically. PMI wants you to enable. You work with your team members to enable them collectively to come up with answers, not to dominate. So do avoid answers that pushes you to exhibit that you are an expert at the expense of your team members without they are contributing to the answer. Okay. I'm checking here because I'm also live on TikTok, so forgive. All right. Then trap 4, they blame the process trap. It's not me. It is her. It is she. It is they. Avoid it. PMI assumes processes can be fixed. Like I said, that's the assumption. And so if something is not going right, it is fixing process, not the people. And of course, sometimes you may want to have conversation with Jumoke. Jumoke, what's happening? I noticed that you are not delivering on time. What's going on? Oh, I'm sick, or I didn't have understanding of the instruction well. So as a project manager, you coach your team members, you provide information for your stakeholders. Sometimes some stakeholders are difficult because they don't have enough information. So you need to find ways of managing them. You don't punish your team members. Hmm? Trap 5. So I've mentioned 5 traps now. The fifth one, the correct but wrong order trap. Sometimes an option is correct on its own, but the timing is wrong. It's like being at the wrong place at the right time, or being at the right place at the wrong time. So right action, wrong timing will be wrong answer. So now, this is where I have practice questions for us. So if you're on YouTube, please you drop your answers in the chat section, as well as those that are on TikTok as well. Okay, I have only 5. All right. And I want you to participate. There are no wrong answers. So no well, anything you think, just put it there. I would tell you which one is the right answer. So question 1. A key stakeholder is unhappy with the project's progress and believes the team is underperforming. The project manager reviews the schedule and finds the project is still within acceptable variance. What should the project manager do next? Escalate the concern to the sponsor, ask the team to work overtime to reassure the stakeholder, meet with the stakeholder to understand their concerns, and D, send a performance report to justify the team's work. Oh yeah, you have 10 seconds. I'm not seeing answers. So. Yes, drop your answer. Yes, I see C, C. All right, let's see. Let me clap for you. Meet the stakeholder to understand their concerns. If you look at option A, escalate the concern to the sponsor. No, you have not done anything. You are escalating. B, ask the team to work overtime to reassure the stakeholder. That is trying to solve a problem that you have not assessed. C, meet the stakeholder to understand their concerns. This one, you want to understand what the problem is before you start finding solution. D, send performance report to justify the team's work. That is like giving excuses for non-performance, that we couldn't do it because it rained, we couldn't do it because, but as a project manager, that's not what you do. PMI favors listening before defending. Understanding stakeholder perception comes before reports or escalation. Now let's go to question 2. During execution, a team member bypasses a defined process to meet a tight deadline. The deliverable meets quality standards. What should the project manager do? At A, accept the deliverable since quality was met. B, update the risk register to reflect the behavior. C, discuss the deviation and reinforce agreed processes. D, escalate the issue to functional management. Question 2. All right, I see B here. I see B, C here, and I see C, C here. The answer is A. Discuss the deviation and reinforce agreed processes. Whatever the deviation is, you need to know why there was deviation. If you accept the deliverable since quality was met, okay, I see I have made a mistake here. Okay, to you, C is the answer, but when I was doing it, okay, C is the answer. Because C is discuss the deviation and reinforce agreed processes, which is A in this slide, so it's an error on my part. Let me clap for you. Okay. PMI values process discipline, coaching, accepting sets a bad precedent, escalation is premature. This is just example, or reason or justification. If you're interested in the slides, you can ask me. I will gladly send the slides to you, but you can always watch the YouTube as well. And when you watch, please be generous with your likes and comments, sharing and inviting more people to watch, okay? That's what you can do to support what I do. Thank you very much. Question 3. Um, an agile team is repeatedly missing sprint goals due to unclear requirements. What should the project manager do first? A. Extend the sprint duration. B. Facilitate backlog refinement sessions. C. Replace the product owner. Yeah, yeah. D. Add more resources to the team. So, question 3. Yes, the other change. Thanks. Palmas. I can't pronounce this. All right. I see BB here. I see BD. All right. Because of time, B is the answer. Facilitate backlog refinement sessions. We said that you should not treat symptoms. You should treat root cause. So root cause is unclear requirements. Agile favors collaboration and refinement, not structured changes first. Question 4. A project is behind schedule due to a previously unidentified risk that has now occurred. Unidentified risk is called unknown. Risks that you identify that may happen, they are called known unknown. Okay. What should the project manager do first? Implement schedule compression techniques, update the risk register, analyze the impact and review response options. D. Request additional funding. So, question 4. Okay. Analyze the impact and review response options. I hope we all understand and agree why the answer is C. PMI thinking order. Like I told us the 3 ways. The best response is structured. You know, mindset, um, thinking order, then ethics and professionalism. So for you to be able to determine what the problem is, the project manager needs to analyze the impact and review response options. Usually to address unknown unknown risk that has occurred. When a okay, risk is something that has not occurred yet, but may occur. So you are talking about future. Once it occurs, it stops being risk, it becomes issue. Okay, it becomes an issue. So unidentified risk. So risk that you identified, how you address them is by responding to them, because you have identified, you analyzed, you came up with possible response, and then if the risk became an issue, you implement the response you planned. For risks that you didn't identify and it became issue, how you attend or address them is called workaround. Workaround, because you have to think there, no, hey, I'm sorry for the non-Ghanaians. You have to think on the spot to find solutions. So that's why you work around to find a solution. All right. Now, the last but not the least, question 5. A stakeholder requests a significant change that could increase value, but impact schedule and cost. So it will increase value, but it will also increase schedule. That's how long it will take to complete the project and cost. What should the project manager do? A. Reject the request to protect baseline. B. Implement the change to satisfy the stakeholder. C. Submit the request through formal change control. And D. Ask the team to assess feasibility informally. Informally. Submit the request through formal change control. If you paid attention to what I discussed earlier today, that you don't make decision on your own. If there's a change request, it has to go through change control board. And the change request will have to be accompanied by analysis so that you know the impact of the change on schedule, that's time, on cost, that's budget, on risk, and quality. Value matters, but governance matters more. So if you look at the project management, is the PMP ECO, that's exam content outline, you realize that governance has a space in the business environment. You have the project governance, project compliance, and this is actually testing their compliance. So I said, okay, Jumoke, what you have treated is not something that these people don't know. So what value can you add? I decided to come up with cheat sheet, like something you can actually compress it in one pager, but I've broken it down for me to for me to be able to explain it to you. So my cheat sheet, number one, I think I have nine. One, the PMP golden rule. PMP golden rule. PMI is not testing speed or authority. It's not testing whether you can answer this question fast. Of course, you have to work within the time, but some people even finish the exam before time, but they fail. And it's also not testing you, the project manager, your authority. PMI is testing judgment, your ability to make right decision in the face of constraints, maybe risk, change, conflict, and it's also testing your ability to stick to order and your mindset. Seven, leadership, value delivery, If an answer feels aggressive, if you picked an option and it feels aggressive or is heroic, would put light on you that, oh yeah, look at what I have done, or punitive. You are using it, yeah. I need to deal with her so that others will not follow. Run, no, don't take it. Don't take them. PMI does not reward aggression, heroic, or punitive options. Two, the four-step thinking order is non-negotiable. You assess, you analyze, you plan, you act. Most PMP wrong answers violate this order. If you pick an option and it's wrong, it is likely that you didn't follow this order: assess, analyze, plan, and act. If the option, so I'm going to read some option and what it is likely going to be. If an option acts immediately, I say that do it now, immediately, don't wait, it's likely going to be wrong. If an option says escalate first, it's likely going to be wrong. If an option says replace the people, Jumoke, change Jumoke because Jumoke is slow, it's likely going to be wrong. If an option says skip analysis, let's just move, let's move, we can't wait, it's likely wrong. Three, quick context check. Because a scenario that is painted that is predictive, the answer will be different. The same scenario, if it is adaptive, will be different. So you need to ask yourself, what is the real problem? Is this question about people problem, process problem, risk problem, change problem? Then you assess, analyze, then you come up with the next line of action, then you act. That will be solving the root cause and not the symptom. The same question you ask, where am I in the project? Is it predictive, adaptive, hybrid, early part of the project, mid part of the project, late phase? Is it a crisis or a normal operation? Same issue is not the same answer in every phase, like I just said now. The same scenario, if it is painted in adaptive, it's not the same way you will approach or respond to it in predictive. 4. Instant elimination rules. When you look at the question, most of the time, two will be outrightly wrong. That's why people come out and say, most of the questions, there are two options that were right. Strike out any option that escalates to sponsor too early. That's how you eliminate. Strike out any option that fires, replaces, or threatens a team member, or bypasses change control, or ignores stakeholders. You cannot ignore your stakeholders, no matter how terrible they are, or solve the problem for the team instead of with them. You don't solve problem with your team. Just say, yesterday when you went home, I've done everything. Just go and implement. Run away from such options. If escalation is the answer, everything else has already failed. So escalation can actually be an answer. Everything else has already failed, or it is out of your scope. I mean, your level of authority, then you can escalate it. All right. Then 5, PMI mindset filter. When there are two answers that seem good, choose one that encourages collaboration, strengthens the team or system, protects long-term value, uses existing plans and processes. So, you have two good options and you need to choose one. This should guide you in making your choice. Prevent future recurrence, because the reason, if you want to solve problems so that it doesn't repeat itself. Okay. Then 6, common PMP traps. And I say memorize them. Trap 1, do something now. I mentioned this earlier. PMI prefers controlled urgency. Don't panic. Trap 2, escalate to show leadership. That okay, yeah, it's not me. Let me just give it to them to do. You know, leadership is facilitation first, then escalation last. In fact, when you escalate and they ask you, what have you done? You can't say, I've not done anything. No. As I saw it like this, I say, take it. You should be able to say, I did this. Okay. Trap 3, expert project manager syndrome. That, oh, yeah, I know I've been managing project for the past 25 years. I know what to do. You don't solve everything. You enable others to solve it. Okay. You enable your team members. And then trap 4, correct action, wrong order. You may have the right idea, but wrong timing, and then it will be wrong answer. 7, agile specific quick rules. So if you read a question and it's agile, you have to facilitate and not direct. Remember, they are self-organizing. Fix the backlog before fixing the team. The backlog itself is a representation of the value the project is to deliver. So it's like requirements for predictive. You see, requirements, you collect requirements from stakeholders and they will tell you what they want to see in the project. For adaptive, the customer tells you what she wants to see, and you, the product or the product owner, itemizes them in the product backlog. So if anything is going wrong, or the customer says, I don't want this, go and fix the product backlog. Could it be that you didn't prioritize? You're supposed to prioritize the backlog before you give it to the team members to pick what they can work within their iteration and the velocity. And then 4, improve flow before adding resources. Before you say, okay, we need to add more laptop, check the flow. 8, the final 5-second test. So you see when I say, when you see question, these are the things you should do. People say, hey, there's no time, but you can do this quickly within 5 seconds. You have 1.2 minutes for every question. You divide 230 minutes by 180 questions. You have like one minute, at least 1 minute on each question. So if you spend 5 seconds on a question, it's not a big deal. So the final 5-second test. Ask, if PMI was watching me now, this option that I want to take, would this decision look calm, ethical, collaborative, and value driven? If yes, pick it. If no, don't pick it. 9, remember, on exam day, the best answer is rarely the fastest or the loudest. It is the most thoughtful. PMI rewards calm, structured, collaborative thinking under pressure, because that is what you actually do as project managers. You are solving problem, and the problem is not waiting for conducive environment. If it is raining, it's raining. If someone is falling sick, is falling sick. Crisis, and you still have to make decision and deliver. So that is what PMI is looking at for. When you are stuck between two options, choose the one that builds systems, not shortcuts, because that will be unethical. Choose the one that leads people, not controls them. Choose the one that prevents future problems. And with that, I come to the end of today's session. So, this is my book. Please buy my book. It's only 350 Ghana cedi, but it contains, it's food that I cooked from teaching project management since 2012 till date. If you have any question, please drop in the chat section here on YouTube and here on TikTok, and I'll be happy to answer any question, comment. I'll wait for, say, a minute. And please drop your comments about how the live went today so that I will know if there are areas you want improved, or topic you want to see, or something you didn't know that you um, learned today. And your questions, please. Yes, your questions. Question. Just send me okay, let me share this again. So scan this to place your order. All right. Scan, and then you'll be able to WhatsApp your order. I have sent the book to someone in Nigeria, someone in Takwa here in Ghana. So it can be dispatched to you. And it is 350 Ghana cedi. Oh, thank you so much. Most welcome. I hope you got something in today's presentation. I'll be sharing the topic for next week later. All right, on that note, I hope you have scanned this to be able to place your order. Okay. All right. On that note, I'll say bye bye to those that are on YouTube, and see you same time next week. Okay. Bye. And please do follow or subscribe to this channel if you are yet to do that.